Yeah, just tell her what you're doing. Just say, I need some first names. Uh-oh, they may be leaving. Try to get this, or ask, hey, ask one of the cheerleaders. This should be fun.
We're going to be winging it, aren't we? I've been doing that my whole life, so I should be pretty comfortable with it.
Story of my life. It should go well, man.
Here today is this game.
I think so.
That's kind of interesting to me, the way they've restructured everything. It's kind of wild.
I think this is it.
Some of the matchups I've seen have blown me away too, like Clark County having to play Brunswick.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I know. Isn't that a trip?
How can that make sense?
In the same region. Or, well, no, it's not anymore. What's that? Write them on there, semi-big with the numbers. There you go. How do you say their coach's name? Do you know?
No.
Mallory Scapuro?
You know what? I just spoke to the Central boys coach. Looks like Skarupa.
Okay.
I
That's what we're going with.
I'll tell you what, Coach French will know. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Once again, we want to remind you that the VHSL basketball merchandise is on sale across the ticket booth. It's in the concourse.
Back to live action so that we know when we're actually at a Welcome to James Madison University in Harrisonburg. Virginia, where tonight the Spotswood Trailblazers host the Central Falcons. Tonight's telemedia broadcast game of the week is brought to you by Jenkins Insurance, ServPro, Star Heating and Cooling, Relay for Life, Andy Huggins and Associates, Old Dominion Realty, May Supply, Massanutten, and Rockingham Memorial Hospital. I am Jay Crawford, thrilled to be here with Kirby Dean. And Coach Dean, we should have a good ball game. Spotswood comes in rolling 25-1 on the season, ranked number 3 overall in the state by Max Preps. Central comes in 19-9. What do you expect here out of this state semifinal matchup?
Well, I would think that these two teams, even though they don't play in the same conference, would have, our district or whatever you call it these days, would have some familiarity with each other being so close. I'm sure they've run into each other at team camps and whatnot, so I'm sure both have a real good feel for what the other is going to try to accomplish. Obviously, Spotswood been a perennial power. Central's had their moments years ago, and now it seems like they're getting back on top. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Central's gotten hot here late. Sometimes it's better to be a hot team than it is to be a good team. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
Be a great ball game. You're exactly right. Spotswood, as we said, 25-1, the defending state champions. They know what it's like to be here. Central, on the other hand, comes in 19-9. This is their first appearance in the state tournament since winning the title in 1996. But the Falcons will not lay down and roll over. They enter off of a regional semifinal win over John Marshall, 49-45 in overtime, before losing 48-43 to Huguenot in the regional championship game, which qualified them to make it here. Spotswood, on the other hand, comes in with a 74-44 win over Rustburg in the first round of regional play, 74-42 quarterfinal win semifinal win over Northside, and then a 56-45 win over Broadway in the regional championship. Again, Broadway, another one of those teams, they await the winner of this one, Kirby. So the winner of this game gets Broadway on Thursday, I believe, for the state championship.
I would say Central probably considers himself an underdog here based on the stats coming in. But I'll tell you what, when you go when you play two Richmond schools like Huguenot and John Marshall, I'll guarantee you those two teams were really athletic. So I can't imagine that they could have had a better situation to prep them for the style of play of Spotswood, because Spotswood plays that kind of up-tempo, get-in-your-face style. So I would think that Central would come in with a certain level of confidence, even though they probably know that on paper they're a fairly big underdog.
I would think so. Leading scorer, however, Caitlin Poston, I'm sure she doesn't believe for 1 second that they're shorthanded coming into this game. Defensive specialist Rebecca Trubin, senior Mary Wakeman, and also a known shooter, and freshman Tamara Scott's done a good job inside for the Falcons. She's averaging 7 points and 7 rebounds a game. Spotswood, meanwhile, led by Regional Coach of the Year Chris Dodson, has his daughter Taylor Dodson the Regional Player of the Year. She leads the Trailblazers in scoring and rebounding and is the first player in Spotswood history to go over 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds in her career. She had 25 in the 74-42 win over Northside. So she'll be ready, as will be Elizabeth Dolfmeyer, an honorable mention all-region pick. She had 22 points in the win over Northside. Should be a good contest. We'll be back for the starting lineups and the tip right after this SVS timeout.
Clear to zip. Break a little. That's good. Good job. Game on.
If you're planning a remodel, don't make the big box mistake. Visit the showroom at May Supply to get what you need to make your vision a reality. MetaTub has combined bath safety with luxury to create the ultimate bathing experience. All of our tub combinations were created with you in mind. May Supply is off the beaten path, but it's worth looking for thousands of ideas for your kitchen or bath in one place and with the expertise to make it happen. Visit the May Supply showroom today.
Now that's what you had in mind.
Welcome back to James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia, where tonight the Spotswood Trailblazers are taking on the Central Falcons in this state semifinal playoff game, girls basketball. I am Jay Crawford. I am here with Kirby Dean. and the host of Telemedia Productions crew. We are happy to be bringing you this contest, and we bring you now the starting lineups for both teams.
2013-14 school year marks the 100th year of the VHSL serving youth through athletic and activity programs. Central and Spotswood High School would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the VHSL on the first 100 years of building better citizens.
You got a minute here, Kirby. You talk about the pace of the game. You said Spotswood's the kind that likes to pick it up and go.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be smart for Central, since they do come in as somewhat of an underdog, to try and slow things down and be a little more deliberate on offense? How do you expect them to approach this game?
Yeah, I would say they're going to do everything they can do to control pace and limit possessions. I mean, anytime you're an underdog and you perceive that the other team is maybe has a little bit more talent, the fewer the possessions, the better chance you have to hang in there. But sometimes that's easier said than done. I think playing up tempo is a Spotswood thing, because Chad does the same thing. Coach Edwards does the same thing with the men. And sometimes it's darn near impossible to stop that thing once it starts rolling.
It is. The other key to it also is defensive pressure. If they can press and get steals, come up with steals, turn the ball over and get you in a running game, that could be doomed for the opponent tonight.
Yeah, I'd say if Central turns the ball over, it'll be a long night. If they can limit their turnovers, then they can probably make it interesting.
And as you say, they've gotten hot lately. They're playing well at the end of the season, and that's when you need to do it. Announcements of sportsmanship have been made, and now we await the starting lineups for the Spotswood Trailblazers, and first, I believe, the Central Falcons.
The record of 19-8, the Falcons of Central High School. Please welcome their non-starters and assistant coaches. For Central, number 10,
Morgan
Morgan Davis.
Davis, the first announced. Number 12, Sydney Plum.
Number 21, Trevor McCord. Number 22, Sienna Fields. Number 24, Marilyn Phillips.
Too many girls to be starters. So
Oh, yeah, they're announcing everybody.
they're announcing everybody. It's a state playoff time. Everybody gets recognition.
And Rachel Struble. And now, with a record of 25-1, the regional 3A West champions, the Trailblazers of Spotswood. Ladies, welcome their non-starters to present tonight's game and assistant coaches. For Spotswood, number 12, Mackenzie Jenkins. Number 14, Addison DeLucas. Number 23, Hannah Curley. Number 24, Reagan Colebrook. Number 34, Maddie Weir. Number 40, Laura Patterson. Number 42, Taylor Rudolph. Number 50, Addison Chip. Number 52, Hannah Hagan. Assistant coaches, B.J. Johnson, Ashley McAdams, and Houston Stillman.
I think now we're ready for the starters.
Now I think finally, after much pageantry, we're ready.
Starting at guard for Central, number 2, Caitlin Poston.
Number 2, Caitlin Poston, as we said in the pregame, leads them in scoring, Kirby. She's going to be a factor tonight.
Sounds like she's their go-to player for sure.
Number 10, Anna Patterson for Spotswood, the first announced. Rebecca Trubin, the defensive specialist we talked about, also pregame, the starter. Rachel Lindsay for Spotswood. Mary Wakeman injured part of this season, just coming back and getting her shooting touch. She could be a good factor too if she can get that three-pointer falling, Kirby. 22, Elizabeth Dolphinmeyer, also starting for Spotswood.
It's amazing how many of these Spotswood kids I went to school with their parents.
Bessica Pumphrey, starting for Spotswood. Number 30, Nikki Lamb. And finally, Tamara Scott, the final starter, and number 32, Taylor Dodson, the regional player of the year for Spotswood. They will be your starting five for both teams. And we'll keep it here for tip-off and remind you, Serve Pro, one of our sponsors for tonight's game. Serve Pro at Harrisonburg, Rockingham County proudly serves Harrisonburg, Stanton, Waynesboro, Woodstock, Lexington, and surrounding areas. They are available 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they are ready to restore damage to your home or commercial structure caused by water damage, fire damage, disaster, storm, or flood damage, and mold damage. Call Serve Pro today, 540-433-6100, and talk with Mike or Wanda Delaney to see how Serve Pro can help you. Again, I am Jay Crawford. I am joined here courtside by Kirby Dean. We are ready to bring you this state semifinal basketball game by Spotswood, which enters 25-1, and Central of Woodstock, which enters at 19-8, according to the public address announcer. And the ball's up, and we are underway. Spotswood controls the tip. Quick pass toward the baseline, looking like they were trying to get the ball to Nikki Lamb off the tip. The ball goes off her fingers and out of bounds. The first turnover for Spotswood.
Like they had a set right out of the tip.
We did. There's Taylor Dodson with a steal. She feeds number 22, Elizabeth Dolphemeyer. Dolphemeyer puts the first 2 points on the board. It's 2-0 Spotswood here. Spotswood immediately goes to the press like we talked about, Kirby.
Wow, that's 2 turnovers and 2 possessions. That does not bode well for Central at this point.
No, it doesn't. Spotswood is applying defensive pressure full court. Ball inbounded to Dolphemeyer. Dolphemeyer bring it up, work it right wing, flip it back around the perimeter. Ball inside to Taylor Dodson. She misses a shot. Quick rebound there by number 3, Rebecca Trubin. Despite being one of the smaller players on the floor, she will go in there and mix it up. Tamara Scott, an offensive rebound, a bucket, and a foul. She'll go to the foul line to try to complete the old-time three-point play. Kirby, a nice strong move there by Tamara Scott, freshman.
And it seems like common sense to say you got to get stops to win a game, but I don't think stops have ever been more important than they are to Central, because if Spotswood scores, they're able to set that press, and then they're going to be really tough to beat. But if they can get some stops here, it should make it interesting.
You're exactly right. Spotswood again working the ball around the perimeter. Central in a 2-3 zone. The ball tipped again. Another turnover for the Blazers, and a quick foul that time on Dolphemeyer trying to win the ball back after the turnover.
That's 2 straight possessions where Central's managed to get a stop. So
free throw by Scott has them out front slightly here, 3-2 under a minute, or a little over a minute gone here in the first quarter. Caitlin Puston bringing the ball up. She gets a nice screen out the top of the key by Scott. Dodson comes away with it, however, stop move and called for traveling as she made the spin move on the right block.
Like more of a carry than a travel, but
I thought the same thing when I saw her pick that up.
Wow, 3 turnovers.
Another turnover, a steal by Spotswood. Dolphemeyer knocked it loose. Dodson got it free. Spotswood again happy to work the ball around the corner, around the perimeter rather. Elizabeth Dolphemeyer drove it into the lane and dished it out. Number 20, Rachel Lindsay missed a field goal, but
typical start to a game. A lot of emotion and a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed shots.
That 3 by Caitlin Poston barely grazed the iron. Rebounded by Spotswood, brought up quickly by Elizabeth Dolphemeyer. Dolphemeyer goes left side, bring it back to Dolphemeyer on the right wing. They've got it baseline to Dodson. She doesn't take the shot, brings it back out. Dolphemeyer works her way into the lane and hits an easy jumper. 4-3 Spotswood.
Right back into that 2-2-1.
And another steal that time by Dolphemeyer. She gets it forward to Lindsay. The layup that time by number 30, Nikki Lamb, and Spotswood's up 6-3 now. Minute and a half gone here in this first quarter. 2.5 gone in the first quarter.
You can already see a little frustration on Central's part there. They turn the ball over and 3 or 4 of their players getting across half court.
And coach takes a timeout immediately. She may have seen the same thing, Kirby. We'll take a timeout with them at Spotswood leading 6-3. 5:23 remaining here in the first quarter of the state semifinal game.
What do all these people have in common? Potential home buyers. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or an experienced one, let Old Dominion Realty help you with your real estate needs. Old Dominion Realty, built on integrity with proven results. Contact us at odrva.com or call 1-800-296-2455.
Welcome back to JMU, everyone. Harrisonburg, Virginia, where Spotswood is beating Central 6-3 right now. First quarter, very early here in the state semifinal game. Spotswood playing a full court press. Central willing to sit in their half-court offense and try to move the ball around, get a good shot. That time the shot goes up, air ball that time by number 14, Jessica Pumphrey. But the ball goes out of bounds off of Spotswood, and Caitlin Poston will take it inbounds for the Falcons. That's Trubin on the far side. Number 4 back to Mary Wakeman. Wakeman turns it over. Dolphmeyer, another heads-up play.
That's about 8 turnovers between the two teams,
Between the two teams very early. I think we got a lot of nerves here. See who gets calmed down first and can get an early lead here. Central inbounds. Trubin brings the ball up the middle, tries to make a pass to the middle of the floor. It is stolen by Dodson. Dodson takes it straight to the hoop and scores her first 2 of the game, and Spotswood's up 8-3. And part of what I see here, Kirby, correct me if I'm wrong, is you don't beat a press by dribbling, you beat a press by passing, and Central seems to want to dribble the ball up against that 2-1-2.
I think they're a little bit in panic mode. They're seeing all those knees and hands and elbows coming at them, and they're just trying to get the ball across half court.
I think you're right. Poston gets it into Trubin this time. Trubin works the ball to number 24. That's Meredith Phillips.
Cool. They needed that.
That's a three-pointer. Mary Wakeman, who we talked about prior to the game.
They're going to have to make shots like that to hang around.
8-6 Spotswood. Dodson finds Dolphmeyer on the drive. Left of the lane, misses the jump shot. Rebound by Tamara Scott. Then the ball worked quickly to midcourt. That's number 2, Poston again. She brings it top of the key, looks left side.
Oh, illegal screen.
Illegal screen. They're going to call her for that too, right here in front of us, Kirby. You're exactly right.
Easy call there.
I think you got that one whenever she threw her arms up in front of her and tried to almost threw a punch. Not a punch, but threw that elbow out.
First person, teams first. Number 20, Rachel Lindsay in for Spotswood.
Yeah.
Spotswood's definitely starting to get their pace going a little bit.
They are indeed. And number 20, Rachel Lindsay, brings the ball up. Gets it back on the left side, or right side. Ball tipped away, so no problem bringing it out of the backfield, or out of the backcourt. McKenzie.
I'd like to
another
see the turnover
another turnover by the Trailblazers, and a little bit of nerves here. Although you would expect that less from Spotswood, right? Because they were here last year and know what to expect. That time another steal, quick handoff. That's number 20, Rachel Lindsay, trying to make her way to the basket there. Missed the shot, got the rebound, however, and it's out of bounds off of Central. Spotswood will inbound. They try to go inbound to Dodson. Dodson can't hang on, and Central comes up with yet another steal, a turnover for the Blazers. They lead it 8-6, however. Blocked that time by Dodson. They will say she took it out of bounds, however, on a hustle after the loose ball. Poston again to trigger inbounds.
Poston's got a little, she's got a little edge to her, man. I like that.
She does.
She's not afraid to compete. I can appreciate that.
Ball dropped into the middle. Meredith Phillips again having trouble with the ball. Another turnover by the Falcons. It's like you said, both teams sort of feeling their way along here.
There's got to be 12, 13 turnovers between the two teams, and we're halfway through the first quarter.
I wouldn't be surprised if Central had, well, I know Central has more turnovers than they do field goals at this point. Spotswood working the ball around the perimeter. Dodson gives the head fake out on the right corner, works it into the lane, and picks up a foul that time. Foul's on Scott, her first, the team's second foul. Ball inbounded, stolen by number 3. That's Rebecca Trubin, the defensive specialist. She brings it in the front court, a little out of control.
Shocking.
Turns the ball over.
Another turnover.
Spotswood inbounds. It's Dolphenmeyer bringing the ball up. Working the ball from left wing to right wing. Central still in that 2-3. Does that surprise you any at all to see that 2-3?
Not a bit. I think they probably feel like they don't match up man-to-man, so they're going to sit back and hope Spotswood misses shots. And right now they are.
They are. You're
Yep.
exactly right. That time it was Taylor Dodson who missed a jumper from about the foul line. A little 15-footer found the back of the iron and bounced off.
That's another turnover.
Another turnover, a walk that time, Central.
I'll tell you, the first team that can just settle down and get control of their emotions is going to run out to a 10, 15-point lead.
I think you're right. And obviously none of these girls were around 1996 when they were last in the playoffs for Central. Spotswood, however, has some experience back from last year. Dodson again, this time right baseline, goes up, power move from the block, doesn't get the shot to fall. Rebound quickly by Central. The ball out from Sydney Plum to number 4, Mary Wakeman, and Wakeman has the ball knocked away from her. Spotswood still applying pressure almost all over the court here.
Be curious to see how deep Central will go into their bench because Spotswood's rotating a bunch of bodies in here, and the pace they got going, I could see one team wearing down, and I don't think it'll be Spotswood.
Trubin's having trouble handling the ball. That time she gives it up to Poston. Poston with a jumper left baseline. He knocks it down, and we've got a tie score. 1:35 remaining here in the first quarter. Dolphenmeyer fakes the three-point play, gives it up, however, the Falcons with a steal. Poston gives it to number 4, Wakeman. Wakeman goes to the hoop left-handed. She's fouled, taken to the floor hard. And she'll go to the line for 2 shots here. 144 or 122 remaining first quarter.
Foul on number 20, Rachel Lindsay.
The foul on Rachel Lindsay, her first, Spotswood's 3rd team foul.
I think if you'd have told Central that with 1:22 to go in the first quarter they'd be up 1, I think they'd take that and be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, with more turnovers than they have baskets. I'm sure the coach would take that. Coach Skarupa would take that in a hurry. Wakeman missed a second.
Step back.
Central, a little step back jumper that time by number 14, Addison DeLucas. Short, rebounded by Central, brought into the front court and shot immediately by Poston. Catches the front of the iron. Dodson with a rebound. Up court quickly that time, number 14. That's DeLucas again. This time she will be fouled. A foul on number 12, Sydney Plum. Her first. It is their team, 3rd team for Central. And number 10, Anna Patterson, comes in for Spotswood. She takes the inbound pass. Long shot that time by Dolphenmeyer. Comes off the mark, but Nikki Lamb picks up a long rebound. They work the ball back around the perimeter. Looking to get the ball to Dodson. Central not having any part of that with that 2-3 zone. Now she gets it in the paint, dumps it down to Patterson on the left block. She misses but gets her own rebound. Work the ball back out around the outside. That time Dolphenmeyer with a long 3. She can't get it. Rebound by Rachel Lindsay, and finally Central comes out of there with it. Although another turnover by the Falcons.
Yeah, that 2-3 zone is actually being very effective for Central because Spotswood's missing shots, but the problem is it's hard to rebound out of that zone.
It is. It's hard to find the body once you get your head turned and watch the ball go to the hoop.
You got to think if Spotswood keeps getting 3 or 4 chances each time down, they're going to sooner or later start making some shots.
I would think. And there looked like one that was on target, but it went a little bit long. It was shot by Nikki Lamb. The ball brought up front court by Mary Wakeman, but she loses it under pressure out of bounds, and Spotswood will take over under the Central basket.
I think Central probably feels like the uglier the better, and right now this is about as ugly as it gets.
You're right. Both teams struggling to find their mark here early. We're under 3 seconds. Taylor Dodson gets the ball at the left elbow, and she's fouled with 1.8 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Spotswood down 9-8 to
Watch for the
Central.
lob.
There it is. Dodson gets a shot away. Great call there, Coach.
That's a bad foul.
Do everything you can do there defensively. Get them in a spot where they've only got 1.8 to shoot, and then you commit the foul on a lob and send the leading scorer from the opposing team to the foul line.
Yeah, the chances of Spotswood being able to convert that were not great. So it's almost like you gift wrapped them a point there, maybe
Exactly.
2. That's why coaches like me look like we're 60 when we're 40. Because stuff like that.
It will aid you in a hurry.
Stuff that you just can't control.
Dodson makes both free throws. Spotswood ahead 10-9 with 0.7 left. Ball inbounded to Trubin. The horn sounds, and we are at the end of the first quarter. Spotswood 10, Central of Woodstock 9 in the state 3A semifinals.
On the train test range, the search for any possible weakness continues. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
Missing the point. We are back at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia, where Spotswood leads Central of Woodstock 10-9 here as we start the second quarter of the state semifinal game. And here you see some highlights of the first half, brought to you by Jenkins Insurance, one of our proud sponsors tonight. Happy to have Jenkins along with us, and happy that you could join us as well for this SVS and Telemedia game of the week. Spotswood versus Central, state semifinal. Ball inbounded by the Falcons. Trubin brings it into the front court. Ball worked around by the Falcons. Post and the long jumper. She knocks it down, a three-pointer. Central takes a 12-10 lead here, 7:40 and counting here in the second quarter.
It's a tough shot right there.
Spotswood still being forced by this 2-3 zone, Coach. Run this ball around the perimeter and make long passes.
Yeah, if they could get the ball right there to the high post and to the short corner a little bit, they're going to start getting some better looks.
Tom Dolphemeyer answers with a three, and Spotswood goes back up 13-12.
My guess is Central will live with that. If they can get Spotswood to shoot that shot, they're just going to hope they miss some of them.
I think you're right. That time a shot off, post, and again that time a little bit short on the shot. Ball into the left corner. Dodson drives into the lane, tries to drop step. Can't hit the shot, however. The ball rebounded by Central, an immediate foul by Spotswood.
Yeah, she missed Dolphemeyer on that play. Dolphemeyer just hit that three, was feeling it, was standing there all by herself calling for the ball. If she gets it, I got to think I like the chances of that shot going down.
Central inbounds, the ball back to Poston. They've had a little more success breaking the press, however, this quarter, Kirby.
Yeah, so far. Things have settled down a little bit.
Ball tipped out of bounds, last touch by Spotswood. Ball to be inbounded. Poston again goes to take the shot. There you get a shot of Chris Dodson doing his best to implore his kids to play. And I don't think it's a lack of effort on either end. It's just
it's two
sloppy
teams.
play.
Yeah,
and two teams trying to feel their way into this state semifinal game.
It's almost like they're trying too hard. They want to be successful so bad, and it's such a big game. Dolphenmeyer's heating up.
Another three.
She gets warm like that zone's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have to come out of that zone if she stays hot like that. Nice pass that time under to Tamara Scott. Scott hits the bucket and is fouled by Dodson. She'll go to the line and a chance for her second conventional three-point play here on this shot as we see the Jenkins Insurance replay. She's got 6, looking for 7 points. She's got her season average already. That's 7 points for her.
Well, against a pressing team, she's going to be at the back of it most often, so she's going to get some chances.
She's going to get some looks. You're right. Spotswood, again, working the ball around the perimeter. They go right back to Dodson on the block. She doesn't get it. That time the three-pointer by Nikki Lamb. They've hit 3 out of 3 three-pointers in 4 of their last trips down the floor, Kirby. They're playing well now.
And Spotswood almost had another turnover there. Just couldn't quite get a handle on it. Seems like both teams are starting to settle in now. Game's a little more flow to it. Not as many turnovers. A little easier to watch.
Trubin takes the inbounds from Plum. Ball worked inside. Shot missed by number 24, Meredith Phillips, but put back up and in.
Tamara Scott is going to work in there. What'd you say she averages?
7.7 rebounds a game. She's got 9 already.
Good pass.
Nice pass that time. Dodson, easy finish after the nice pass from, I believe that was Anna Patterson with a dish. Again, long, high pass for Trubin. Trubin finds Scott. Scott gets the ball to 24, Meredith Phillips. Phillips can't finish, however, and here come the Blazers. That's Dodson driving down the lane. She misses the shot. Tries to go back up with her own rebound and gets fouled.
Tamara Scott's asking for a blow. You can tell she's winded. She's playing great, so she better get out and get a quick one and get back in there.
I would think they need her. She's got half of the team, almost half of the team's 19 points. Dodson makes the first. Another made by
That's 4 free
Dodson.
throws.
She's got 8.
She hasn't touched the rim yet on those free throws.
No, she hasn't. Ball inbounded to Poston. Poston splits the trap. Gets the ball up quickly.
And Spotswood went to the diamond press that time. They've been 2-2-1 the whole game.
Phillips that time with a three-pointer and didn't catch anything. Ball bounces out of bounds. Spotswood will take control.
Now, I think that's a bad shot for Central. They beat the press, but now you want to run your offense a little bit, make sure you get a good look. That's just playing into Spotswood's hands if you shoot that quickly.
And then Spotswood the turnover. Addison DeLucas called for the travel down in the right corner. Central will get
this next
get
couple
the
minutes
ball
are
back again.
Going to be crucial to Central. Because if they can maintain contact, they might have a chance in the second half. This thing gets up to 10-12, they might be in trouble.
Wakeman gets the ball back out to Trubin. Trubin to Poston. Poston tries to drive, takes the bump, puts up the three-pointer, knocks it down.
That's 2 step backs she's hit. That's a pretty good shot. There's another 3 by DeLucas.
There's another 3. DeLucas that time hits the three-pointer. Poston again brings the ball up, goes hard to the rack, shoots, but it goes completely over the iron, and we've got a tie-up, jump ball. And the arrow will favor the Trailblazers.
The flow of this game has really picked up. It's gotten a lot better. Seems like both teams have really settled down.
Scott's rest was a brief one. She's back in already, Kirby. You called that one.
Yeah, she couldn't be out long.
Spotswood again working the ball around the perimeter against this Falcons 2-3 zone. Are you surprised at all that they stuck with it, even though Spotswood's been making threes?
Yeah, I think they feel like they don't have a choice. I think they feel like if they go to man, it's over.
They got to stay in it anyway.
I think they're gambling that Spotswood won't make enough shots to put them away. Like Spotswood might have got away with a walk there before the foul.
Hard to tell on those calls of what came first, the foul or the walk. But either way, Dodson again at the line, and again, no iron whatsoever, just all
money.
net.
She's money at the line.
I think they're going to like her next year at George Mason. And as soon as we say it hits the rim, but goes around the rim and drops in. So Dodson now with 10 points, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Poston takes the lob inbound, works the ball up court on the dribble very quickly. Works the ball to Poston, right side. She doesn't get the shot to fall, but Tamara Scott, and she has been the whole game a force inside, gets the rebound, goes back up, she gets fouled.
Like we said, if Spotswood's going to press and overplay the perimeter, she's going to be the beneficiary of that. So if she can finish plays in there, step up to the line and make free throws, she's going to have a big night. She's well on her way.
That's DeLucas's first foul. Spotswood's 8th. 2 more of the Falcons will be in the 2-shot bonus here in the first half. 3:30 remaining in the first half. Spotswood leading 28-22. Scott gets the second. Spotswood gets the ball up the floor quickly. DeLucas doesn't take the shot, but Elizabeth Dolfmeyer does. It's a 3-pointer, and Spotswood now up 31-23 in sort of a danger zone now for Central.
You took the word right out of my mouth. This is real danger time here. I might would think about getting a timeout here if I was Central, because this thing creeps into double figures. And
if you've got to get it to somebody, Scott's been the person. She couldn't get that one to fall, however. Ball quickly inbounded up the floor, or quickly brought up the floor. Dodson gets the ball, didn't get it. That time DeLucas, the long shot, it doesn't fall. Rebound to Central. Ball brought up by Rebecca Trubin. To Pumphrey. The ball stolen that time by Dodson.
Good pass.
She makes the pass to Elizabeth Dolfmeyer. Easy layup. You're right. Timeout Central. Spotswood leads 33-23, 2:33 remaining here in the second quarter. Again, that'll give us time to thank our game sponsors with Telemedia's Game of the Week, brought to you by Jenkins Insurance, Serve Pro, Star Heating, Relay for Life, Andy Huggins and Associates, Old Dominion Realty, May Supply, Massanutten, and Rockingham Memorial Hospital. Yeah, Kirby, you were right on the money there. The timeout by Central, very, very well taken. This game about to get out of hand for a team that probably feels like they do come in undermanned and has been stuck in that 2-3. Spotswood starting to hit bombs and make some scores in transition as well. What do you do now if you're the Spotswood coach?
Yeah, I think this next 2:33 may dictate the entire game. If they can keep this thing within 10, maybe get it down to 6 or 8 by halftime, they'll go into halftime feeling like, hey, we have a shot to hang around, maybe steal this game. But if it stretches out to 14 or 16, then you go into halftime and you're thinking, my goodness, we really got the deck stacked against us. So this will be a huge 2:33 for Central to try to hang in.
I think you're exactly right. If they go in down by double digits or higher, I think that changes the complexion of the game, because then you're thinking, okay, at halftime we have to talk about how we come back in this game, and the way you make up points is to score in a hurry. And if Central's been turning the ball over like they have, being in a hurry certainly not going to help any. Falcons working the ball around the perimeter now. Tight man-to-man by Spotswood. Poston takes the ball, drives the lane, puts up a shot from the left wing. It's no good. The ball way
Good
out
kick
front
up.
to number 12. Great full-court pass. That's Mackenzie Jenkins with the layup. Spotswood 35-23, 2:04 remaining. Steal by DeLucas. She'll lay it in. Spotswood 37-23. 2 baskets in about 7 seconds. and that time it was number 24, Reagan Holbrook, made the steal, and she is fouled by Wakeman.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. If I'm Central, I'd have probably called another timeout there. I'd rather go in the second half with no timeouts and still have a chance than go in down so much that doesn't matter how many timeouts I have.
2 quick scores got Spotswood, like you said, Kirby. This is danger zone here. They're up 14 now.
Yeah, they could easily go in down 20 if this continues.
And, right.
Well, the other thing we talked about earlier was Spotswood's been rotating kids in so much. You know, you look at the Central kids, they got their hands on their knees. You know, that's what pressing teams do to you.
Holbrook at the foul line. She can't make it.
Yep, there she is again. Tamara Scott.
Tamara Scott again.
Wow, they missed a foul there.
She's got 8 in this quarter, 15 in the game, and average is 7, so she's already doubled her season average here in the first half.
She's on her way to 30.
I think Coach Dodson might be a tad upset if she ends up with 30. Dodson, the ball inbounded right away. She tries to get the ball up, loses it the first time, comes back with her own rebound, and travels. A turnover by Spotswood. But they still lead it 37-25. This time Scott makes the pass. It's no good. Scott battles for the rebound, knocked out of bounds by Nikki Lamb of Spotswood, and it'll be Central ball underneath their own basket.
I don't know how Tamara Scott only averages 7 points a game, but she is all over the place.
She's had a very, very good first half. Ball inbounded toward her. Ball knocked away, however, by Spotswood. Picked up by Phillips on the floor and then thrown out of bounds, not touched by Spotswood, so they will inbound under the Central basket. 1:13 and counting here in the first half.
That's going up.
DeLucas takes the ball left corner. The jumper no good. The rebound by number 30, Nikki Lamb, and Lamb is fouled trying to get the ball back in the hoop.
I didn't notice if Central was still in the zone. I'm assuming they were.
They were.
They're having a lot of trouble keeping Spotswood off the glass in that zone.
Lamb goes to the line. She'll shoot 2. First is no good, around the iron and off. Patterson and Mackenzie Jenkins back in for Spotswood. That time Lamb makes the free throw. It's now 38-25, just outside of a minute remaining here in the first half.
I think Coach Dotson decided he likes the 2-2-1 a little better than the diamond at this point.
I think so. Basket that time by Sydney Plum from the right corner. Trims the Spotswood lead to 11.
Well, you can see Central's just packing that zone in. They're basically just giving Spotswood any three-point shot they want. I mean, it's like playing horse out there. There's nobody within 10 feet of them.
You're exactly right. They're packing it in.
It's a matter of can Spotswood step up and make a few of them. They're not. I think basically Central's saying we're not going to let your post players beat us. We're going to try to take Taylor Dotson away and make other people win the game.
Free throw up this time. And good by Rachel Lindsay. Second up and good as well. Lindsay's got 2 points. Ball inbounded, long pass that time. Plum takes the ball in, puts up a shot from the right block, and she's fouled. She'll go to the free throw line now. And that was all set up by the long inbounds pass.
If Central can knock these two down, maybe get a stop and score at the end, go in down 9, I think they'd have to feel pretty good about that. That's not a good start.
Misses the free throw. Still 40-27 Spotswood, 31.5 seconds remaining here in the first half of the state semifinal game between the Trailblazers and the Falcons. Misses both. Dodson, the rebound, brings it up herself. Gets it right side to Lindsay. Lindsay takes it back to Dolphenmeyer. A little weave out front now for Spotswood. Lindsay tries to get the ball into the corner for Dolphenmeyer, knocked away by Plum, however.
If you're Spotswood, you want to take the last shot here. You don't want Central to have an opportunity to come back down and score, so it's going to be important to execute here.
Can't let Lindsay get to the rim that easily. She made it about halfway down the paint before encountering any resistance whatsoever.
I'd rather see her do that 5 seconds later, but at the same time, I guess she did at least get to the foul line. Difference is if you do that at the very end, you go to the line and Central doesn't really have time to work with. And now you might get your points, but they may have a chance to come back and answer.
The lefty makes her third consecutive free throw. 41-27 Spotswood.
Coach Dotson doing some offensive, defensive substitutions here. I believe Taylor's got 2 fouls, doesn't she? He's been getting her out on defense a lot, I've noticed.
She does have 2. You're exactly right. Misses the second free throw. I put the jinx on her. I said she was 3 out of 3. She misses. Poston brings the ball up, puts up a heave right before the buzzer. It goes out of bounds, and that is the end of our first half. Spotswood 41, Central 27. We'll be back to talk about the first half, maybe get some highlights, and get the second half right after this SVS timeout.
My name is Andy Huggins, and I'm a private wealth advisor with Ameriprise Financial. Over the past 30 years, I've had the privilege of helping many clients achieve their lifetime dreams. I've also developed a very competent and dedicated team to help you take control of your financial life. I believe our team can have a positive impact on your life, and we look forward to serving you.
Clear to zip. Break a little. That's good. Good job. Game on.
If you're planning a remodel, don't make the big box mistake. Visit the showroom at May Supply to get what you need to make your vision a reality. MetaTub has combined bath safety with luxury to create the ultimate bathing experience. All of our tub combinations were created with you in mind. May Supply is off the beaten path, but it's worth looking for thousands of ideas for your kitchen or bath in one place and with the expertise to make it happen. Visit the May Supply showroom today.
Now that's what you had in mind.
What do all these people have in common? Potential home buyers. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or an experienced one, let Old Dominion Realty help you with your real estate needs. Old Dominion Realty, built on integrity with proven results. Contact us at odrva.com or call 1-800-296-2455.
On the train test range, the search for any possible weakness continues. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
My name is Andy Huggins, and I'm a private wealth advisor with Ameriprise Financial. Over the past 30 years, I've had the privilege of helping many clients achieve their lifetime dreams. I've also developed a very competent and dedicated team to help you take control of your financial life. I believe our team can have a positive impact on your life, and we look forward to serving you.
Welcome back to James Madison University. Jay Crawford and Kirby Dean and the Telemedia staff production crew bringing you state semifinal action between the Spotswood Trailblazers and the Central Falcons. And so far, Kirby, we've got 4 players playing very, very well. For Spotswood, Elizabeth Dolfmeyer, 15 points, 3 rebounds. Taylor Dodson, 12 points, 3 rebounds. And Tamara Scott, 11 points, 7 rebounds. She's averaging 7 and 7 on the season.
She's been fantastic. I mean, I don't know what year she is in school, but
she's a freshman.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Noticed last year the Coach Scapura noticed her last year when she was playing for the middle school team and couldn't wait to get her hands on her this year as a freshman.
If she's a freshman, she is going to be one special player. That is for sure. She's going to be a college player at some level. It'll be interesting to see how she develops physically and skill set wise, but right now she's definitely pretty well ahead of the curve. She looks like she's got a chance to be fantastic.
Yeah, she's got a heck of a shot, and as we said, Caitlin Poston also playing very, very well. She's got 8 points, including 2 3-pointers. She's 2 of 5 from behind the arc so far in this contest.
Yeah, my understanding is I'll get to see Caitlin Poston play quite a bit over the next 4 years.
I think you're probably right.
What I heard was that she's headed to Eastern Mennonite to play for Coach Griffin. So
that's what I understand. I was going to bring that up, but I was going to wait until later in the game to make you think about that.
Well,
she's got 8.
I didn't know that until he just texted me and said she was coming to Eastern Mennonite. So she's I tell you what, I commented earlier, she's got a little edge to her, which I like that. I think you can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's not afraid to compete. She's not afraid to mix it up and get a little physical. I think having a few players like that on your roster can go a long ways.
You see some highlights here. The first half, Spotswood playing that press full court for a little while. Caused some early problems for the Falcons, but everybody seemed to settle in late in the first quarter, or in the first half, and did a better job, brought them, in fact, out of the diamond press, as you said, back into that 2-2-1.
Yeah, I think the key to allowed Spotswood to get some separation was they finally made some threes. I mean, Central's packing that 2-3 in and saying, daring them to shoot. And I think you reach a point where trying to force it inside, you're banging your head against the wall if you're Spotswood. At some point, you got to say, hey, this is what they're going to give us. We're going to have to make some. And that's basically what you saw happen. And once they made a couple, the lead went from 3 or 4 to 12 and 14 in a hurry, and I think you'll see a continuation of that in the second half. I don't think Central feels like they can guard them, so they're going to pack it in, and they're going to say, shoot the 3, and let's see what happens. And, if Spotswood makes enough of them, I think that'll bode well for the Trailblazers.
Well, they're 5 and 9 right now from behind the arc, including 3 out of 5 from Elizabeth Dolfmeyer, who's got 15 points to lead the Trailblazers. And there you see there's Poston.
She's got that
we
step
just
back.
talked about. She does, and she does play with an edge. You can see it on her face when you're down here courtside. She plays with her heart, goes after it hard, and like you said, you can work with 10 or 11 of those girls just like that, can't you?
You get a bunch like that, you got a chance to win some games.
There you see Dolfmeyer, who leads Spotswood playing defense. And a layup here by DeLucas. This is when the game started to get away. And again, we are at halftime. 3:30 left here in the break. 41-27 Spotswood over Central. And we'll be back for the second half right after these messages.
Clear to zip. Break a little. That's good. Good job. Game on.
I want to remind you that the Relay for Life is one of our sponsors for the game. Please join us. Remember those who we lost to cancer. Honor those who are fighting cancer and celebrate those who have survived cancer. The Relay for Life will be held 6 p.m. May 2nd to 6 p.m. May 3rd at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds. Bring your family and friends to celebrate decades of hope. We are back at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia, home of the James Madison University Dukes. And tonight, the Spotswood High School Trailblazers and the Central Falcons. And Central trails now 41-27. If you were in the Central locker room at halftime, not that you've ever been in this position, but if you're down by 14 to what you may feel is a superior opponent, obviously the defending state champions, what do you tell the Falcons at the break, Kirby?
Well, I think as a coaching staff, you have to decide what it is you want to do. If you want to continue to do what you've done, you're probably going to lose. You know, you're not going to lose spectacularly, but you're going to lose. The only chance you really have at this point, since you're down 14, is to go away from the things you feel safe doing. I mean, they're going to have to either come out of that zone or extend it, which is going to expose them a little bit, but you don't have a choice. If you're down 14, you know, the only way you can win is to go ahead and play a little bit. I mean, you got to get up and down, you got to make some plays, and you got to hope that you have a really good second half and have a chance to climb back into the game. I think if you just continue to pack it in, let Spotswood run the clock down every possession, I think you have no shot to win. You may save face and not lose by 30, but you don't have a shot to win. Personally, I'm going to try to go for the win, and if I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose spectacularly. That's just my philosophy. So
you go down in flames.
That's right. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down fighting. So we'll see what they do, but I think they're going to have to match up a little bit, and you know, especially. I mean, they may try the first 3 or 4 minutes here to see how it goes, doing what they've been doing, and see if they can get back in within 8 or 6. But if that doesn't happen right away, you have no choice but to roll the dice and go ahead and, to a certain extent, play Spotswood's game. I mean, that, you know, and then you're playing into their hands. But hey, what are you going to do? I mean, you want to have a chance to win.
Right. Now I'll give you the fun one. If you're Chris Dodson talking to these Spotswood Trailblazers with a 14-point halftime lead and a state championship already on your back, what do you tell those girls?
Well, I smell blood if I'm Spotswood. I'm saying right there to the Spotswood kids, I'm saying, hey, these first 3 or 4 minutes, we have got to be super aggressive. I mean, we got to get in our presses. We got to be flying around, playing with energy. We got to create havoc, so to speak, to use a term from the VCU men's program, because if they can get an 8-10 point run here to open the second half, you can put this thing to bed. It's over, and that's what you want if you're Spotswood. You want to go ahead and put this thing away so that there's no chance of something crazy happening in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
And Spotswood comes out in a man-to-man post, and Tough driving down the lane again, misses the turnaround jumper. Ball rebounded by Spotswood, but taken away, and Tamara Scott, 2 more after 11 in the first half. She's got 13 now.
I think this will be a game they'll look back on years from now and say this was her coming out party, because that girl she's a baller.
Averaging, as we said, 7-7 coming into this game. That's a great pass.
Good pass.
Dodson to Dolphenmeyer inside. Dolphenmeyer with an easy score. She's now got 17, a game high for her. This is Wakeman bringing the ball up. Gets one step across midcourt, picks her dribble up, goes to Trubin. Trubin back to Wakeman. Shot up, but will not count. There was a foul before that on Dolphenmeyer. That's her second foul, team's first here in the second half.
Really like the way Dolphenmeyer and Lindsay play. They both make hustle plays. They make open shots. Those are the kind of players that get you to the winner's circle right there.
Those girls with the edge, you seem to like that. I noticed there's a trend there.
I like a little
attitude. You could put
attitude.
together 12 to 15 of them, you'd be all right.
I'd be really comfortable coaching those. Maybe I have a little edge, Jay. Maybe that's the secret.
I was going to say, I did the same thing when I was coaching soccer. Whenever my little one is now bigger, but whenever she was, I did the same thing. I'd take 10 or 11 of those girls and put them out there. Dodson that time hard to the lane, the right side. She is fouled. She'll go back to the free throw line. That foul's on Tamara Scott, her second, team's first. Dodson already 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Yeah, it's the second player I've jinxed this game. First time I said somebody was 3 for 3. Now she's 6 for 6, 6 out of 7. Remind me before I do that, put your hand over my mouth next time.
Don't come to any of my games next year if you don't mind. We missed plenty enough free throws without your help, that's for sure.
Makes the second. 1 out of 2 that trip.
A little out of control there.
A little out of control. No call on the foul. Dodson, nice turnaround move. An easy layup. 46-29 Spotswood. Maybe time for a timeout here, Coach. It's 17 points. You can't afford to let this get any farther away. Jumper not good by Phillips. Rebound back up. Knocked out of bounds again.
Tamara Scott, she's battling away in there.
Scott is not giving up easily. She will stay inside and battle, that's for sure. 13 points, 9 rebounds now in the game. Playing very, very well. Cross court pass. High post, that's where you typically want the ball, but
yeah, but not the way Central's playing that zone.
Central's playing it very, very well, forcing that high post out. But Dolphmeyer, again, no problem, knocks down a three-pointer from the left wing. Ball knocked away near midfield, midcourt, but picked up by Scott. Scott finds Poston along the right baseline. Shot's no good. Scott the rebound, but fouled. Looks like the foul's going to be on Dolphmeyer. That's her third. Team second, and she'll come out for a break. Long inbounds pass. Back to Poston in the corner. The shot doesn't go. She tries to come up with a steal, can't get there. Ball brought into the front court and knocked away at the last minute by Mary Wakeman. Dodson will go to trigger, out of bounds for Spotswood.
Obviously, Central's decided that they're going to stay with the 2-3, irregardless of the score.
And they're down 20 now, 49-29.
Maybe they
not
don't.
the way they wanted to start the second half, certainly.
Yeah, maybe they don't. They may not play man at all. I don't know. I haven't seen them play.
This is Trubin working the ball now against number 12, Mackenzie Jenkins for Spotswood. Gets it to Poston. Poston, a great feed underneath. Scott grabs the handle, manages another bucket from inside the paint.
Telling you, she may end up with 30 the way she's going. That's a block.
He's doing a good job inside. Although she has just now picked up her third foul, and she'll have to go out. 4:57 here in the third quarter. We'll have to see what kind of impact that has on the rest of the game.
Yeah, she's been one of only 2 consistent pieces of offense. Yeah, they got to get out of that zone.
Mackenzie Jenkins that time bombs a 3 from the right corner. 52-31 now, 21-point lead. Trubin brings the ball up. Gives it off to Bessica Pumphrey. Pumphrey misses the shot, however.
It's getting a little chippy down there, it looked like. A little physical play, some people bumping into each other.
Spotswood will bring the ball up. And you got exactly what you said you wanted. They're out of that zone.
Yeah, they had no choice.
Central goes man-to-man and immediately gives up a backdoor cut. Beautiful backdoor cut. Mackenzie Jenkins on the easy layup.
They're giving up threes in the zone. They're giving up layups in the man-to-man, so I think you better stay with the man-to-man. That's +1 points-wise.
It's good math. Transition layup that time. Looked like Nikki Lamb. I hesitated because that's not what the announcer said to start that. A long-range jumper that time by Poston. You can see now that Central's winded. They're having girls walking down the floor. Another three-pointer, Mackenzie Jenkins. Timeout, Central Woodstock, Spotswood 59, Central 31, and we'll be back to James Madison University right after this Telemedia timeout.
If you're planning a remodel, don't make the big box mistake. Visit the showroom at May Supply to get what you need to make your vision a reality. MetaTub has combined bath safety with luxury to create the ultimate bathing experience. All of our tub combinations were created with you in mind. May Supply is off the beaten path, but it's worth looking for thousands of ideas for your kitchen or bath in one place and with the expertise to make it happen. Visit the May Supply showroom today.
Now that's what you had in mind.
What do all these people have in common? Potential home buyers. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or an experienced one, let Old Dominion Realty help you with your real estate needs. Old Dominion Realty, built on integrity with proven results. Contact us at odrva.com or call 1-800-296-2455.
We are back at James Madison University, where Spotswood leads Central Woodstock 59-31. You see the Spotswood student section up there just above the basket where the Trailblazers are shooting.
Yeah, this thing's got a little out of hand here, Jay. Central, I thought, did a nice job early in the game of hanging around and keeping it close and making it interesting, but Spotswood started hitting those threes, and it's just been too much.
Well, and I think the pressure, you mentioned during the break that we see people walking up the court for Central. This pressure, this game-long pressure does start to wear on you, especially if you're facing it at both ends of the floor. They're working very hard to get shots up, and they're working hard defensively trying to keep Spotswood from scoring. So,
and it's not just physical pressure, it's mental pressure.
Right,
You
exactly.
just get frustrated. You could really see some frustration on a couple of the Central kids right before that last time out.
You're right. Phillips that time fouled while we were talking. She'll go to the free throw line. A chance to shoot two. Misses the first.
I was told before the game that number 2 for Central actually played AAU with some of these Spotswood girls, so obviously there's probably some relationships there, which may make it worse.
I was going to say that may make it harder to get beat around the way they are right now. Second one hits the back of the iron and gets the kind roll and falls through. Spotswood will rush the ball up. That's Mackenzie Jenkins. She goes into the corner to DeLucas. DeLucas back to Jenkins. She goes to the top of the key to Dodson. Dodson cuts down the right post. She gets the ball on the right post, tries to take the hoop, but traveled before getting the shot up. Another turnover for the Blazers.
Good defense.
Trubin having a hard time. It is great defense
great
by Jenkins. Offensive rebound by number 24. Meredith Phillips can't get the shot to fall, however. Spotswood grabs a defensive board, brings the ball up court. That's Dodson going into the corner looking for number 14, Addison DeLucas. She is tied up, and the possession arrow favors Spotswood. So the Trailblazers will maintain possession here. And on the inbound, Central has gone back to the zone, Kirby.
I guess they figured they're stuck between a rock and a hard place there.
Tamara Scott goes half the length of the floor after taking the outlet pass, misses the layup. Dodson will take the ball into the right corner for Spotswood. Long skip pass to the left corner. Back to Mackenzie Jenkins. Jenkins with another three.
I don't know. Spotswood's probably shooting 50% from three.
She's got 11 this quarter. 14 for the game.
I'll tell you something else, Jay. A team like Spotswood, you don't just show up one day and start shooting threes like that. That's a prime example of Chris Dotson having that gym open and those kids getting in there and working. I don't know if the folks at Spotswood, being a Spotswood guy, I really appreciate what's going on down there. I don't know if they realize what they got in Coach Edwards and Coach Dotson. You're talking about two guys. This isn't just happening that both teams are top teams in the state. This is a product of all the hard work they're putting in and all the time they're putting in.
And you go to that school anytime, you see both of those guys, too.
They're in the gym.
They are.
That's what they do.
The time.
They love it. So it's like a golden era of Spotswood basketball on the women and the men's side. So I hope those folks are soaking it up and enjoying it. Good pass.
Nice pass underneath. I think Dodson that time got a little bit too far underneath the basket. She stays there to battle with Scott, though. And Scott had scored on the other end of the floor. We're seeing a
Yeah, it's a coming out party
big
for
coming
her.
out party for her today. Dodson, the rebound for Spotswood. She'll bring the ball into the front court, drives
Ouch.
right side. And she's fouled by Wakeman.
Second foul on number 4, Mary Wakeman.
Yeah, you're getting close to that
That's
area.
her fourth personal foul, so we'll have to watch that.
You're getting close to that area where if you're Spotswood, you just want to keep everybody healthy. Because you got one more. You got one more game.
Yeah, the difference now is 28, 62-34. Three-pointer just in and out. That one was halfway down, Kirby.
Yeah,
rebound by Tamara
I
Scott.
tell you, Jay, I'm not a great shooter, never have been, but I'm not so sure I couldn't make some threes out there in this game as much time as they have to.
They've
to
had a
size
lot of
that thing
time
up.
against that pack 2-3. And when we say 2-3, the guards are staying about on the edges of the foul line.
Yep.
And the two wings underneath are staying about on the blocks with the center right underneath the basket. That leaves a lot of time.
It's the most packed 2-3 I've ever seen in my life. If you're somebody that can shoot and you see that, it's like you're on a pinball machine.
That's exactly.
How many points can I
right.
score?
Exactly. This is Plum at the line. She gets her first to roll in. The second up and off the iron. Dodson, another rebound. Spotswood again will take their time, work the ball around the perimeter. Certainly no hurry here. We go under 1 minute. Dodson takes the ball in the right post. Nice spin move up and in, 64-35 now. Spotswood leading Central Woodstock. A long pass that time for Plum. She gains control, pulls the three, can't get the rebound or can't get the basket to fall. Ball out front to Dolphemeyer. She's fouled going to the hole. She's fouled hard, in fact. We'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Trubin gets her third. First by Dolphemeyer, up and in. She has another coming. Everybody else on Spotswood's team, except a shooter, sub 4 here. Coach Dodson looking maybe to get some more rest for those girls. Use this additional 33 seconds to get another minute or so of rest.
I think up 30 with 30 seconds to go in the third quarter, you're in pretty good shape.
You go ahead and clean them out too. Yeah, you're right. Second also good by Dolphemeyer.
Feel a little bad for Central. It's tough when you have a great run like that. You hate your final game to be like this, but hey, it happens. They're still playing hard.
They are. There's the three-pointer up by Plum, not good. Trubin the rebound. Another shot up, no good. Tamara Scott grabs the rebound, tries to get the ball back into the paint off the hands of Bessica Pumphrey.
Yeah, I think if I'm her coach, I'd say you just go ahead and shoot that. You've been our best offensive weapon. I appreciate your unselfishness, but you go ahead and finish that play.
Tom Dolphemeyer brings it up, looks to get the ball underneath to number 42. That's Taylor Bronow. Central gets the ball into the front court, and at the buzzer, a three-pointer by Plum finds the side of the iron. And at the end of 3, Spotswood 66, Central 35. We'll be back after this Telemedia sports break.
On the train test range, the search for any possible weakness continues. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
My name is Andy Huggins, and I'm a private wealth advisor with Ameriprise Financial. Over the past 30 years, I've had the privilege of helping many clients achieve their lifetime dreams. I've also developed a very competent and dedicated team to help you take control of your financial life. I believe our team can have a positive impact on your life, and we look forward to serving you.
Tamara Scott, the only person. Back at James Madison University, where Spotswood leads Central 66-35 on our Telemedia Game of the Week. And Coach, a couple of players we can talk about start this fourth quarter. Tamara Scott, who has been the only offensive player to score a bucket in the third quarter for Central.
And she was trying to pass last time down.
And she did. Had 3 field goals, 6 points that quarter. And on the other side, Mackenzie Jenkins had 3 threes and 11 points in that third quarter for Spotswood.
And I thought Mackenzie Jenkins not only shot the ball well, but I think her defense. There was one play where she cut off the offensive player, and then she threw her hands in the air to show her hands to the officials so they didn't call a foul. That's she's been coached up pretty well.
Headsy stuff. And as you said, this is the golden era of Spotswood basketball because they've got great young coaches who love it and spend all their time in the gym with these kids. Spotswood working the ball around. The nice defensive play that time by Trubin to drop back and give help from her guard position. And there you see Addison DeLucas with the knock away there. Ball inbounded by Central, down on the post to Poston. She makes a nice pass in the center of the lane. The first shot not good, but the second one is good by Jessica Pumphrey.
Has she been in the game?
Pumphrey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That was a nice play.
Down on the right block. Nice pass inside out that time. From Dodson to Rachel Lindsay. Lindsay didn't hit the shot. Spotswood does get the offensive rebound. They go back underneath to Dodson. Dodson tries to get the ball up, has the ball knocked away and out of bounds. Spotswood will inbound underneath its own basket.
Getting a little physical down there, Jay.
6:52 and counting. Again, that pass knocked away by Pumphrey. Lindsay to inbound for Spotswood. Back out near midcourt where it's grabbed by Dolphenmeyer. Dolphenmeyer back to Lindsay. Ball into the corner by Dodson. The foul by number 3, Rebecca Trubin. That's her 4th and the team's 6th. So the next Central foul will lead to the 1-and-1 for Spotswood the remainder of the way, although I don't know that the Blazers want a whole lot of clock stoppage here from this point forward.
I think the Blazers would go running clock if they could.
I think they would, you're right.
And Central might too.
I was going to say, at this point, Central might as well too. That is Trubin's 5th. She has now been disqualified. The team's 7th. Number 30, Nikki Lamb at the line for Spotswood. She's shooting 1-and-1. She makes the first. She'll get the bonus of the second.
I haven't seen Spotswood play a lot, but the two things I see are really hustle on defense and the ability to make shots. And they have a lot of kids that can make shots. I mean, Taylor Dotson's a Division I recruit. She can play. She can get to the rim. She can finish inside. But what really puts them over the top is then you surround her with all those kids that she can kick it out to and they can make shots. That's a pretty good combination.
It's a real good combination. It's worked for them tonight. They've got a lot of girls in double figures. Dolphenmeyer drops in another free throw there. She's got to be close to the 20-point mark or well over the 20-point mark at this point. She's over the 30-point mark.
Wow.
Those 2 free throws get her to 30.
That's a quiet 30.
That includes.
And I thought she played well, but
it can be a quiet 30, going 6 of 8 from behind the 3-point arc. Tamara Scott scores again for Central. The Falcons aren't going to die, especially Tamara Scott. She's going to keep battling you.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the effort they're putting forth because it's been a tough game for them, but they're still competing.
Call an offensive foul there on Lindsay. That's her second, the team's 7th foul. Ball lost out of bounds, last touched by Spotswood. Ball inbounded by Central underneath their own basket. Out on the top of the key to Wakeman. Wakeman gives it up. Long shot.
There she is
taken
again.
by Phillips. Tamara Scott, the offensive rebound. The pass back inbounds to number 12.
Now she's
That's
getting
Sydney
assists.
Plum.
Tamara Scott's getting assists now. Rebounds and assists. She's
Maybe
filling
she's
up
going
the
after
stat
that
sheet.
triple-double.
I think she is. I'll tell you what, I've been really impressed with her. She's a good player.
Now you know how she caught the coach's eye as an 8th grader last year playing on the middle school team. Another rebound by Scott. Wrestled out of there and brought to post, and on the right side, she'll bring it up the floor. Pulls up for the jumper off the front of the rim. Battled and lost out of bounds off of Spotswood. Central will maintain possession. Ball to be triggered in by Plum. Phillips takes a long jumper. She hits it. 69-43, a sort of mini run here for Central. Ball worked quickly up underneath. Dodson can't make the finish, and guess who? Another rebound. Poston brings the ball into the front court.
Oh, it's an offensive foul there.
Gotta be, yep. You can see her extend that arm. You knew that's what the call was going to be. Spotswood inbounds. Dolphinmeyer bring the ball up. Ball to Lindsay, and we got timeout, Spotswood. Full time. 9:43 Spotswood, and we remind you that one of our sponsors for today's game is the Relay for Life, and we ask you to please join us and remember those we lost to cancer, honor those who are fighting cancer, and celebrate those who have survived. The Relay for Life will be held 6 p.m. May 2nd through 6 p.m. May 3rd at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds, so bring your family and friends to celebrate decades of hope.
Cleared and zip. Break a little. That's good. Good job. Game on.
Welcome back to James Madison University, the state semifinal game where Spotswood leads Central 69-43 with 4:39 remaining in the game. I am Jay Crawford. I'm joined by Coach Kirby Dean. And Coach, what do you try to get out of this last 4.5 minutes if you're Central?
Well, if you're Central, the biggest thing is you just want to keep playing hard. You want to keep competing. You can't let the scoreboard dictate your attitude or your effort level because next year will be here before you know it. And if you're Spotswood, you don't want to lose your edge, and you also don't want to get anybody hurt. So, I tell my guys, we get late in games that we're up big. You can lose the next game with how you finish this game, even though you're up big in this game. So, I think Spotswood's got to maintain their focus, and Central's just got to really try to continue to compete.
I think you're exactly right on both instances. And guess what? Didn't get the shot to fall, but Tamara Scott is having a big day on the boards. And that shot didn't fall, but she's made a lot so far tonight. comes into the fourth quarter with 17 points on the night, averaging only 7. She's got 17 points, 12 rebounds, averaging 7 and 7 during the regular season.
Yeah, and you can begin to see a little frustration set in. I think she feels like I've put my heart and soul out here, and the scoreboard's not real kind to us right now. But talk about a bright future. My goodness. She's only a freshman. She is going to score a lot of points and get a lot of rebounds during her career.
Taylor Dodson makes the first. She only has one miss at the free throw line so far.
And that was your fault.
And that was
She can't be held responsible for that.
She can't. She hadn't
you
hit
hadn't
the
kept
iron
saying
again
she's 6 for
since
6,
then. You're right.
and she would have never missed that free
You're
throw.
right. You're right. Which is why I'm not allowed to come to any of your games.
That's right.
Central now working really hard just to get an open look against the Spotswood man-to-man pressure. Who else do you go to? You go underneath to Tamara Scott.
She's still working hard in there.
She sure is. And as we saw late in the third quarter, Coach Dodson again cleaning his bench. He's got 4 new players ready to come into the game for the Blazers. As Scott knocks down her first free throw.
So I guess it'll be Spotswood and Broadway for the 5th time.
Spotswood and Broadway take 5. You're exactly right. Broadway beat Huguenot 45-32 in the other semifinal Thursday at VCU.
You know, being a college coach the last 20-plus years, I've often heard that saying, it's really hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year.
How about 5?
I was going to say, so how hard is it to beat somebody 5 times?
I'm telling you what, Broadway's sitting at home watching this now. They're hoping that it's really, really difficult.
Right.
The last time the two teams met, I talked about this in the pregame, Spotswood won 56-45. Some of the other games were not that close, however. But those two will meet for the state 3A championship game. DeLucas, a nice pump fake from the rim, drives into the paint, hits a 15-foot jumper from the foul line.
Wow, she's a freshman too.
Yeah, at 5'10".
She's got a chance to be really good. She's a 5'10" wing player, guard.
Right, right. What does that look like? That time Phillips lost her footing and just tried to fling the ball back out to the perimeter. Nobody home. Spotswood will inbound with 2:30 and counting here in the ball game. They lead at 75-46. I'll tell you what, Coach, if you're coming in to face these Trailblazers, and I know that Broadway doesn't have a whole lot of secrets, Spotswood doesn't have a lot of secrets with Broadway, however you look at it, but you look at these last couple of scores of this state championship run or this championship game run for Spotswood, 74-44 over Rustburg, 74-42 regional win over Northside, and now 75-46 over Central. That's got to scare you a little bit, does it not?
Well, I could see that intimidating you a little bit, but I'll tell you a couple things I'd say. One, the fact that they only lost by 11 last time they played them, that's got to give them some confidence. And then just the familiarity of knowing the kids. Sometimes that can be a little less intimidating if you roll into playing some team you've never heard of and you're looking at those scores and you're seeing they're beating people by 30 and 40 points. I think it's a little easier, at least if you know who they are. Right. I think the Broadway kids will come thinking that they've got a chance. I think they'll look at that last game and say, we were right there in the fourth quarter. We make a couple plays, who knows? And I think that's the mentality they'll come out with. So I think Spotswood has got to really come out, focused. They got to be as focused as they've been all year because it'll be a little bit of a danger game for them. But if they do what they do and they do it well, I think you could make the argument that there's no question that they'll be okay.
Well, Spotswood showed us that this first half today, or the first half of the first quarter at least, that they didn't shoot well, that they will allow you to stay in the game if you can play with them. And I think Broadway, I think you're right. With that 11-point loss the last time, Broadway will see that and know that they can do a good job. And I think it'll be a great championship game, even though it's the 5th time the two teams meet.
Well,
a great championship game on Thursday.
And the other thing is, you're playing at the Siegel Center. That changes the dynamic to a certain extent. I don't think there's any question about that. And just the fact that it's a championship game, that just brings a whole different pressure. So it'll be an interesting game. I think it'll probably it'll be a dogfight at least for a while, and then if Broadway can keep it close and hang in there, who knows?
Spotswood, the reserves mostly in at this point. And that's DeLucas, the final starter to leave the game for Spotswood now. Coach Chris Dotson got his bench cleared with 1:25 remaining here. Spotswood 75, Central 48. Spotswood still working the ball around. Nice pass that time inside.
Ooh.
The layup, that's Wakeman on the layup attempt. The shot doesn't go, but she's fouled. And that'll be a foul, number 34, Madison Pryor.
I think that play says a lot about the Spotswood program. They're up 27 points, and they're still don't want to give up a layup.
Yeah, yeah. Wakeman knocks down both free throws, 75-50 now. Spotswood working the ball up. Coach Dodson's cleaned his bench. This is number 40. We don't have a 40 on our roster, so I can't tell you who that is.
I'm not sure. I want to guess that might be the younger Patterson, but I'm not positive.
Spotswood still, look how hard these girls are working. You talk about what Chris Dodson and this coaching staff does with these girls. These girls don't want to even give up a jumper here late in the final minute of this game.
No, and you have a lot of young kids out there, so they're trying to get ready for next year and the year after that. I mean, there's certainly a precedent's been set that Spotswood's going to be good every year. And so I think these young kids come through the program, and the expectation is we don't take a step back next year or the year after that, we don't ever take a step back. So I think that's what Chris has created, him and DJ. And I think Chad's got it going on the guy's side as well. So like I said, it's a pretty special time to be a Trailblazer.
It's a good time to be a Trailblazer and wear royal blue, huh?
Yes.
Leah Payton that time with a pair of free throws, 75-52. We go under 25 seconds remaining here in this state semifinal playoff game. Spotswood all over Central. Mostly after halfway through the first quarter, this one started to get away, and we talked about it especially in the second quarter when Central was down, just getting down double digits, how important it was not to let it get like this, and all of a sudden Spotswood blew it up to 20, and it's been there most of the remainder of the way. Spotswood to inbound, the long inbounds. We're under 10 seconds. The move by Taylor Bronow. The ball be held out, and that'll be the end of the game. Spotswood 75, Central Woodstock 52. Kirby, what do you take away from this game first from the side of Woodstock?
Well, I think they obviously had a great run at the end. They got to 19 wins. I think they don't feel good right now, but a week or two down the road, they'll look back on this season and say, wow, we had a nice little run at the end and really made a statement about what our program is going to be about moving forward. And for Spotswood, I mean, it's all about championships. It's about trying to win state titles. And got to think they got a pretty good shot to get another one here, although I think Broadway will certainly bring their best effort in their A game, so it should be a pretty good championship game, I have a feeling.
Couple of games. We'll do two players of the game here. Tamara Scott, finished with 23 points as a freshman and double-digit rebounds for Central Woodstock. What do you think about her?
I love her game. I have not seen Central play this year, but right away early in the game, she stood out to me. She was just involved in every play. She's getting her hand on every rebound. She's finishing around the bucket. I'm thinking she's a junior or a senior, and then you tell me she's a freshman, and I'm thinking, my goodness, she's going to be a special player.
Elizabeth Dolfmeyer goes about 30 points tonight, the senior guard. See anything out of her that surprised you tonight?
No, and I believe
junior guard.
Yeah, she's
junior guard. I'm sorry.
I've seen her play several times over the last couple of years. I really like the way she plays. She makes open shots. She hustles. She doesn't hurt you. I've tried to tell Coach Griffin he should recruit her to Eastern Mennonite because I think, I'm not sure that necessarily she'll be an all ODAC player, but she's a kid that can help you. I mean, she just understands the game. And she's the kind of kid you want on your team. So I'd like to think maybe I'll get a chance to see her play in the future maybe.
I think you might be right. And finally, I'll bring up Taylor Dotson, the senior. She had 19 points tonight, and had I kept my mouth closed, it would have been 20 because she goes 9 out of 10 from the free throw strike.
Yeah, I think the key there was I don't think she had to exert herself because Spotswood got up so big. And the other thing was I really think Central kind of came out with the philosophy, we're going to take her away. We're going to do everything we can do to limit her. And we'll take our chances with these other people beating us. And that's what happened. I mean, they sagged in so hard on her inside that it was like playing a game of horse for the rest of the Spotswood kids. And those kids can shoot. So, obviously, that led to Spotswood hitting some threes, and then that stretched it out. And once the snowball got rolling down the hill, there was no stopping it.
Yeah, you're right. And we talked about that in the first half. Central was sort of got caught in that no man's land between man-to-man and that zone 2-3 zone, and no matter what they did, it didn't seem to work out.
It wasn't a
Spotswood
great
took
matchup.
advantage. 3-point shooting, McKenzie, Jenkins, and Elizabeth Dolfmeyer. I think Nikki Lamb hit a 3.
Yeah, again.
They had Addison DeLucas hit a 3.
Yeah, I mean, again.
When you've got that kind of shooter around Dodson on the inside, it's very, very difficult to do anything consistently, and Spotswood was able to get it done from a multitude of angles today.
To me, it's reminiscent. I'm an NBA fan. It's like watching the Rockets when Akeem the Dream was doing his thing, and then they had all those guys around him, Clyde Drexler and Kenny Smith, all those guys that could make shots. They'd either throw it in and he'd go score, or they'd throw it in and everybody claps and he'd kick it out and they'd make threes. I mean,
You're
it was
exactly right.
It was pick your poison, and Central picked their poison. They said, we're going to let you shoot the 3, and Spotswood made them pay.
Yeah, they did. Well, Kirby, I thank you for joining me. Thank you all at home for joining us tonight. Spotswood 75, Central 52 in the state semifinals. Spotswood will meet Broadway on Thursday at the Siegel Center. Make sure you get your tickets for that game. You'll see a great one. Spotswood 75, Central 52. For Kirby Dean, I am Jay Crawford, and for the rest of our crew, Telemedia production staff, we thank you for being with us, and we'll see you the next time on our Telemedia Game of the Week.